Welcome back to another video, and we are bringing you the C29 Duotts assembly video. We'll be doing a review on this very shortly, so keep an eye on the channel for that. Let's get straight into the assembly.
For the unboxing and the build of the Duotts C29 electric bike. And unboxed. The extras that you get in the bike come all packed in the box. Is obviously the user manual, which is really important. It is relatively comprehensive on the build, but anything else that you need to know on specifications and stuff on the back here, you've got QR codes. Anyone knows what QR stands for? Is quick response. Bit of knowledge there for you. Anyway, you can then download all the information you need on the back of those. Other things it comes with, a pump, which is quite handy. Comes with a little mounting for your mobile device, which is waterproof, which is pretty cool. It also comes with some cable straps here for when you're tidying your bike up. Comes for a derailleur protector on the side, which we'll put on later. Other tools it comes with is spanner. This is quite handy actually, especially traveling. All the multi-tools, pedals, which we'll put on later. Quick release for the front wheel. It does come with an optional throttle to put on. Wheel cover caps, some reflectors for front and back, and a cap for when you put the handlebars on. It just clips over the top to hide the bolt. So actually pretty comprehensive. It doesn't come with this, unfortunately, which is mine. That's the coffee. Apart from that, you will get everything else. Do is adjust this stem so that this is facing forward, obviously in line with the direction of travel. So that brings round to the front here. Thing you're going to do now is to remove the 4 Allen key bolts from that's going to hold on the handlebars. Just be a bit careful you don't lose these. Okay, so that'll come off, and what will happen is this will, you've got to bring the handlebar up, you're going to line this up, and you're going to put this back in, and then even if you get 1 Allen bolt in there, just hold it in place while you're doing this. Try and get yourself a start with these bolts. Here, like I said, as long as you can get 1 in there, that should hold it in place enough for you then to start trying to get something else in place. I say just be careful you're not going to cross thread these when you're putting them in. So nice and easy. If they don't work, untwist them, twist them again. Okay, so just try and put in all 4 just by hand so they hold in place nicely using your Allen key. What I tend to do is line this up to where it's going to be here, and obviously you can adjust this at a later date if you need to, but roughly where you need it. Start to tighten one up. When you've got one starting to bite, do the opposite corner. So we're going to fit the front wheel. You've got the brake disc here, which is going to fit into the calipers here, so it's obvious which way around it goes in. It does come with the protective bar through here, so if you just undo that by hand, in my case, I tend to keep these. I use the bolts and the washers as spares as well, so don't just discard that. So when lining this up, it is important to make sure that the disc goes in between the calipers, but as you can see with the wheel here, there's nothing here to actually clamp it together, which is what we said before when we had the quick release bar here. You can see here it comes with the 2 springs, the actual quick release mechanism, and then that's just the bolt on the end here. What I would say is take the bolt off from one end. Okay, you can slide it through. Put the spring back on one side and then just gently push that in place. So all that's going to happen here is we're going to slot in place here. So he just slots in between there. Just make sure that it runs quite nice and free. Fit the pedals, they are marked left and right. And again, screwing these on, it does come with a spanner to do this. But again, you know, lining these up in place is a bit fiddly to start with. I tend to reverse the thread on them to start with, so that you're not going to cross thread, and then do it the opposite way. Once you've got that in a position, you can use the spanner provided and just work your way in nice and gently with that. Okay, and you're going to replicate that on the left hand side as well. Rear mudguard or fender, same bracket. The bracket I've just started here, it goes through with these 2 Allen bolts here. Again, you know, lining them up first by hand, screw them in by hand to start with. Being fitted onto here, so you can see the curved part here. Pull the spinner, and you can undo that. Just make sure you don't lose the bolt and the washer on the other end. Okay, that's the bolt and the washer. That pulls out, and then you're just going to fit this in here. Again, just the reverse process really. Is to get that on in place. And put your nut on the correct way around. That off. Then getting your spanner in place, you can start to do that up, and again you can adjust this when you have to at the end where you want that in position. Okay, we're going to fit the rack now, so if you could just get that in position over the top of the mudguard. It has got some bolts in here which you'll need to remove first, so again, actually you can use the smaller one on that. So removing your bolts, again be sure not to lose the washers with these. This is going to be replicated on both sides here, so I'll show you the one side. It's in position here, again just by hand putting them in place. That's top and bottom, and then you can finish up tightening these up. Okay, rack's fitted, mudguard's fitted. Now we're going to fit the light. You see it comes with a cable that's loose, but don't forget that we have got the spare cable ties, which we're going to do in a moment. So just getting this on in place. Again, just make sure it's the correct way up. The bottom of the bracket's got a little U-bend in there, you can fit your cable in there. So again, just when you're putting these in, just put them in by hand to start with. Nice and simple. So again, you can centralize these up when you need it. Okay, so finally we've got the battery here, which fits on. You've got the connectors here and the receptors at the bottom there. So if you just line this up here, okay, and it should slot down inside. It does come with some keys that will lock it in place here, so you can lock that in place. Has got on and off switch here, and then we've got the position for charging here. At the moment it's off. If we switch it to on, you can check the health of the battery here. So if you press on the top of the battery, you can then see it lights up on the top, and it tells you we've got about 3/4 full on that.
Thank you very much for taking the time to watch the assembly of the C29 Duotts. If you've got any questions about the process, please leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to help you. I'll also leave a link to the review in the description and a link to the product. Be sure to subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next YouTube video.